The name of my case is A Grave Dilemma. This case is about Jade, who walks her dog in a cemetery despite it technically being against the rules of the cemetery and against the local law that cemeteries cannot be used for recreational purposes. She has no other practical options for walking her dog, and other people are rarely there, and when she does come across other people there, they're usually also breaking the same law. Also, nobody has been buried at the cemetery in decades, and she causes no harm to the land. Um, the main dilemma of this case is whether it is okay to break the law if no harm is done by doing so. And in this case, Jade and other people are breaking the law by recreationally using the cemetery and bringing dogs into the cemetery. Uh, and I mean, it's usually considered pretty unethical to recreationally use the resting places of the dead. I think it's fine to use the cemetery recreational personally, and it's also fine to use it to walk dogs. Jade has no other practical options, and even if she did, I feel like it would be okay even if the cemetery was more convenient. I don't think it's very necessary to follow laws that don't protect anybody, especially when the action that breaks the law doesn't really hurt anyone in any way. The people most affected by this case are the people who use the cemetery recreationally. I mean, like, the only other group that's really affected is already dead, so they're not really affected at all. And the families of those dead people are technically affected, but it says that nobody ever really goes there to mourn, and seeing as no one had been buried there in decades, it's more likely that the people who remember the dead people who are buried there are gonna die soon themselves. Um, of course, there's other ways to look at this. Some may argue that it is important to always follow the law, and it is equally important to leave the resting place of the dead alone. In case some people come to grieve lost loved ones, it's important that they can do that in a place without needing to deal with other people disrespecting a sacred place to them. But in, I don't think it really applies for this situation because there's so few people actually coming here, and it's been unused for so long. And if she'd seen people come to grieve, I think maybe she should find another option. But seeing as she hasn't, I think it's fine for her to continue to walk her dog there.